Global S&OP Community Weekly Podcast, brought to you by Ahmed Khalid and Ahmed Al-Hamamsi from Middle East. Our Global S&OP Community Podcast mission is to build a global community from supply chain, marketing, trade marketing, sales and finance all over the world, where everyone's voice could be heard and listened. Every week, we host a new episode with great thought leader in the S&OP industry. We believe that one word, one story, or one conversation could open up the light in the screen of your consciousness and you'll never be the same again. We discuss hot and trending topics with our subject matter experts by asking the right questions that uncover their valuable experience in our show. You can visit our website ahmedkhaled.co. Stay tuned every week with our Global S&OP Community podcast.
Hello, and welcome everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you all for tuning in to your Global S&OP Community podcast and show, of course, where we are interviewing executives and CEO also uncover their invaluable experience to everyone. Of course, we're interviewing not only people from supply chain, but from sales, from marketing, from IT, from everywhere, from all aspects of the business. Of course, and it's knowledge that you'll not find in books. And this is our. We want, of course, to hear from you, and this is your show. And today we have a very special guest. Hello, Ahmed. How are you doing?
Hello, Hamamsi. Thank you for the great introduction. And as you said, actually, we need also today our beautiful audience to interact and engage with us because we have a great episode and as well as we have a great topic today and amazing leader. Actually, I'm so excited today for that episode because our topic today is literally a topic that you will not find in books. A topic I see it where most CEOs and managing directors inside most companies struggles from it. Our topic today is how to move from a business strategy into sales channel strategy. You will realize that most CEOs are very good in setting vision, in setting mission, and in setting just a business strategy. But when it comes to planning it very well, it's very nice in that place. But when it comes to just executing this kind of strategy, unfortunately, you will find most CEOs they got lost at this certain point.
Yes, the
And
detail.
definitely,
Yeah.
yeah, it's very hard, Hamamsi, and I
Mm.
think that most people that they have this experience, they will realize this. They hear where the mix and the strategy it's somewhere, and it's not connected with the execution. And this is the point when just it's the time to deploy the business strategy into the channel strategy. Or from another angle, I would say, how do they cascade the strategy top down?
Yes.
And what are those methodologies that they can use CEOs or managing directors, and what could be also a successful criteria that they should be attached to? And the questions also could come: what could be the obstacles on their way, and how can they solve them? Many and many questions could be asked in that point of time. That's why today we have one of the best leaders who will reveal the secrets and the answers for all of these questions. And our thought leader today is definitely Yasser Abdullah. Yasser has unmatched experience end to end across a wide varieties of multinational companies. Companies like Unilever, companies like Johnson and Johnson, and a company like Reckitt Benckiser, company like Nielsen, a company like Nissan. Actually, what makes Yasser very unique is his self-learning attitude. If you see him, you will always see him. He carries always a small AirPod on his left ear. I just do remember that
Yeah.
always. And I'll tell you a funny story about this. So most of the time I see him by this AirPod. And one day I do remember I asked him, and I was very curious, and I asked him why you are always handling this AirPod on your left ears. And he immediately he passed these AirPods to me to listen.
Mm.
And actually, I was shocked because almost of his free time, he listened to an audiobooks to learn more and more
Wow.
and more about life.
Wow.
It's not only about
Amazing.
the business, but about life.
Amazing. Amazing.
I've never considered him as an employee inside the company because of his entrepreneurial mindset, which
Yeah.
made him very unique wherever place he goes. I consider him as one of the most humble leaders that I've ever worked with all of his knowledge, I keep saying it, he didn't lock any door to anybody who's seeking his support or advice on something. And this is the real meaning of a servant leadership.
Yeah.
So, may I ask you, please, to welcome with us our lovely and thought leader today, Yasser Abdullah. And as usual, let's give him the
Mm.
combo applause. Hello and
Hello. Hello. Yes, sir.
يا
hello,
أهلا
yes.
وسهلا.
أهلا أهلا أهلا.
يا
Great
أهلا
to
How are
see
you?
you
وسهلا.
today.
Just one thing about the AirPod. By the way, it's not working anymore. Huh? Just like for
I think that you changed it to something else.
yes, yes.
Actually, we are so excited to have you today, Yasser. And I keep saying this that the just the lessons that we'll have and the knowledge that we'll have it today, it's knowledge that we will never find in books and based on your practical experience. So we are so excited today to have you, and it's a glad to have you today. If you allow us, let's jump into our comments for our lovely audience, just
Yes,
to send
please.
some greetings for them. We
محمد
have our
أفضل
friend
أفلام.
Afzal.
How are you?
Yes.
How are you?
Thank you
Thank you.
so
Thank you
much
for
for
joining.
tuning in. And this is me, just for technicalities. We are waiting for
Uh,
all of your questions. I keep
you're
reminding
checking.
you guys, please. I keep
Yes,
reminding you
please.
guys, feel free to ask whatever question into your mind. We have great leader today. He will be able to answer you. Our friend Al Sayed. Thank you, great Ahmed and Hamamsi. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
tuning in,
Thank you.
giving us your valuable time. Thank you. Our lovely friend and brother
From
Muhammad
Turkey.
Ashfaq from Turkey.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in, Muhammad. Karim
Karim Hinawi.
Inawi. Thank
Thank you,
you from
Karim.
Egypt, tuning from Egypt. Uh, our lovely LinkedIn user,
From
Haiti.
Haiti.
I'm not sure.
Again.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
for joining
Maybe
us.
it's a place. Thank you so much for tuning in.
From
Our friend
Nigeria.
Tonde, greetings from Nigeria. Thank you so much for giving
Thank
you
you.
us your valuable time.
ما شاء الله, you have universal
Mm.
friends.
From everywhere, from everywhere.
Yeah.
And this is my
Our
brother
brother
Muhannad Khalid. Yes, hello
from
from the
Egypt.
others.
Hi, Muhannad. How are you?
Thank you, Muhannad, for tuning in. Also, our friend Muhammad Karim.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for tuning in. Actually, we have great audience today and engagement. Our lovely friend and brother Muhammad Fathi. Mr. Yasser is the inspiring CCD that translates strategy into tactics. Thank you. And definitely, you'll see today with our great insights and values, we reveal a lot of things based on Yasser's experience. Thank you, Muhammad. Uslama, nice one. Thank you so much for tuning
Thank you
in.
so much. Thank you.
Our friend Shadi
Shadi.
Jackie. Hi,
Hi, Shadi.
friends.
Hi, Shadi. How are you?
Thank you so much, friend. Dr. Adel El Bouti. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for
Hi.
tuning in.
Hi, doctor.
Thank you so much. I think we can stay. We will not have the episode today and send greetings for our friends today. Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Robert, for joining from Kenya, of course.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you guys for tuning in. The last but not least, maybe we have another two, and then we can start our episode.
Yes.
Our friend Khaled Al Tawusi, greetings, great session from great leaders. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so
Khaled.
much.
Last, our friend
Please.
Jackie. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in, guys.
Thank
Just
you.
to set the expectations, due to the limited time of our episode today, feel free to ping us with your questions, and definitely we will jump into your questions just the sake of the time. And Yasser, again, welcome again to the show. We're so excited to have you in our show today. And let us start based on our topic today. And I think it's very compelling and very excited topic today, which is how can we just move from a business strategy into a channel strategy. We need your experience on that because it's a very big topic and it's a very sensitive topic. I would say most CEOs they have struggled on it. They are very good in setting vision. They are very good in setting business imperatives. But when it comes to deploying it into channel or category strategy, they stopped. So if I have a business strategy, how can I deploy it into a channel or a category strategy based on your experience?
طيب, first of all, يعني thank you guys for the nice introduction. I hope I can stand up to that expectation that you have set for me. I was lucky to work with you, Ahmed, in Unilever, and knowing you,
Thank you.
Hamamsi, now in the
Thank you so
podcast.
much. Thank
I
you.
am a fan of the work that you've been doing, guys. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank,
It's really good.
thank you.
It's
Thank you.
it's always beneficial to share knowledge with people and everyone. Now,
Thank you.
I do have, I would say, experience in developing channel strategies, and whatever I'll be saying is based on the knowledge that I have accumulated myself. Not necessarily this knowledge can be applicable to different industries or different
True.
categories, but this is the accumulation of experience and knowledge that I have myself. Definitely, there might be people who are more experienced in the podcast and who would know better. My feedback is going to be my personal opinion and experience of whatever I've done so far. Now, doing a channel strategy, I mean, like if you start with the basic understanding, what is a strategy actually? Strategy is a way of achieving a certain objective that you have. Okay, your objective is to sell more products. Okay, for whatever product that you are selling, be it water, be it candy, whatever. So to sell and increase your sales, what's the strategy? I need to know where I should be selling these products, right? So should I sell it in a supermarket, or I sell it in a pharmacy, or I sell it in a small grocery or a large grocery? So a question here might be which place, before going to the word of channel, which place I should sell my product in? Is it a supermarket versus a pharmacy versus a large grocery, whatever? Uh, the way to know which place that you should be selling your product is through data. Uh, and in our industry, the FMCG industry, the data is Nielsen or EPOS, electronic point of
Yeah.
sale data. So once you have an access to these type of data, you can identify which place sells your product the most, which is the category. How does the category look like? So if let's assume you are selling water, so logically most of the water are being sold in large and small groceries, then supermarket. Uh, so if I'm launching a new product in the water category, then I should be focusing where the category is in right now. It's in traditional trade, then supermarket. Then I go one layer more deeper. Which product, which pack size are sold in large grocery, small grocery versus supermarket? Then I go a further level and I check at what price point. Is it a 1 dirham or a 5 dirham or a 1 liter, whatever?
Yeah.
Accordingly, once I have that I would say channel
Map. Yeah.
map, then I can design my strategy accordingly. Now the designing is nice and beautiful and easy, but how you get to implement that design will require a huge, I would say, influence through the system. As a customer marketing or category development or trade marketeer or shopper marketeer, most of the people who are doing these jobs, uh, their main job is requiring more of an influence, because the sales organization does not report to shopper marketing or category development or trade marketing. So you have to convince, you have to influence the team to implement that plan, and that influencing happens from top of the chain, let's say from the channel manager down to the merchandiser who puts the product on shelf. So so yeah, I mean the channel strategy requires a lot of influence to make sure that it happens in ground. It requires a strong design of the plan, which as well, along with the data that I just mentioned, it will require an experience. Like what's really happening in ground. When you say that I'm going to do this big, I would say, launch in a pharmacy channel, pharmacy has a specific, I would say, operational aspects to it versus doing it in a supermarket
Yeah,
chain or channel. So knowing these kind of things is important to ensure that your plan is successful. For example, if you are doing something in supermarket, promotion and visibility, having a big off-shelf display are things that will help your plan, but not the same formula can be successful in pharmacy.
yeah,
In a pharmacy or a health and beauty channel, a pharmacist plays a major role in recommending your product and making sure that shoppers and consumers are buying it. So that was a lengthy answer for a very simple question that you asked. So you asked
no,
me if there is any.
I don't think it's simple, of course, Yasser. Maybe it sounds simple, but as you said, it's a big map and it requires collaboration between different departments and
Definitely.
different external shareholders with you, like you said, the pharmacies, the key accounts, and a lot of information, of course, flow of data and information from your side and from the other side of the like the key accounts, like the
Yes.
shoppers, like the pharmacies. So it requires a lot of commitment and the flow of information. And
Yeah.
I like the way you answered the question.
So
Yes,
just
actually.
just to add one thing, guys. I mean,
Yes.
now the answer I gave is most likely can be easy to understand for people with, let's say, more than 5 years of experience to 10 years and
Yeah.
more of experience. Now for let's say fresh grads who are like entering the job or the industry itself, it's a different way. Like there is a certain I would say thinking templates that they have to think accordingly. Like there's certain steps A, B, and C that they need to follow to do a proper I would say category and channel strategy. Now for someone experienced, it will be more easy to come up with a strategy just by, I mean, like quickly looking at the data and understand and doing a market visit, I would say, to the channels that you're
Uh,
planning to do a strategy for. So you would be able to figure out what you need to do. So again, I mean, like the answer would be different if it's for a fresh
100%.
to an
graduate.
experienced. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yes, sir. I think that you opened a very nice point, which is to deploy a business into channel strategy. Think that you have to rely on data. And this is the most important thing that you have discussed or you have just mentioned it. Because if you don't have a data and this data just give you insights and these insights can give you a wisdom that you can take the right decisions with the right channels, you will be very obsolete in that point. And what I'm just asking myself, what kind of data? As you said, it could be starting top down, how I can find my business strategy. Let's say I want to have like my margins increase like X percentage. So I have multiple streams. It could be from supply chain cost, it could be from my trade market investment, it could be from many expenses inside my P&L. But for instance, now if I want to just have a top line sales, I will look at it from the downstream side where I look at it from a market point of view. What is the size of my market? And then I can go at a granular level,
Yeah,
what is the category, how it looks like, how it sell as a category inside the market. Then I can see my portion, what's my market share from that point, how it looks like. And now the second point, what is my brand equity, how it looks like. Am I having like a great brand equity, how much do I spend in that, in terms of a brand in that point. All of those, I think, data can shape the right decisions that you can take aggregated to the business strategy itself. Because without data,
definitely.
you will be annihilated, definitely, as you said,
Yeah.
which is something
Exactly.
that we should take it into consideration. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
I think
Yes.
definitely. Yes, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I like something came up into my mind while Ahmed was
Yeah.
speaking. I mean, and even the strategy will be way different if you are doing a strategy for a pure innovation. Not a product extension. It's not like a new pack size that you are launching or a new variant that you're launching. The strategy when you are doing an extension is kind of easier. Like you have a map of the category, how things look like in terms
Yeah.
of 4Ps: product, place, promotion,
Placement,
placement,
Right.
pack.
Yeah.
and price. So
Yeah.
so so that map is there. But if you are launching something totally new that might disrupt the
Mm,
category, then your reference point here will be different. I mean, like you cannot just rely on the
mm,
category data on a product that the category haven't seen before. You got my
Yeah.
point.
mm-hmm.
So that as well is a different way of looking at things. I mean, is the strategy that I'm making for this product is an extension. We are just launching a new pack size in a readily available pack size segment that we were not there, or it's a new variant that as well in a available variant that we did not have. So this is an easy way to plan a strategy versus you are bringing a totally new product into the
Yeah.
category, and you
100%.
plan differently.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Hamamsi,
bringing
please, please,
an innovation. Please go ahead.
please,
Give a clap.
just in case, okay?
Thank you, Yasser. Of course,
Go
this
ahead.
was a really great point. Deserve this round of applause
Absolutely.
because it's definitely some people miss that or take it for
Yeah, yeah.
granted when they launch some new innovation or something and they don't give it the importance. It's like it should be treated like a totally separate project with timelines, with definitely supplies to
No,
be ready on time.
which is Hamamsi,
Yeah,
not to cut you there. I mean, like
yeah,
usually
sure.
the choosing of words itself
Yeah,
makes the project.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like different. I mean, like you cannot call a product extension innovation, you know.
yes.
And so I mean, like these the ways that we
Sometimes, yes,
choose.
sir, I think a lack of ideas or sometimes to make
Yes,
news in the
yes, yeah.
company, they don't you don't have
Yes,
something new,
exactly.
so you call it like
Which
this.
is fine. We can make news and we can be happy about it.
Yeah,
But I mean, like, because that word kind of transcends across the organization until the
yes,
operation itself. Like when the merchandiser just, I mean, like assuming a merchandiser from a nationality that speaks only English, does not speak Arabic, and he is being told that this is an innovation, it's something new, and he just sees a different variant. Like,
uh,
so what's, like you lose that kind of
yes,
connect with
yes.
execution. So I might be a bit specific on these things, but I do believe that they have a huge impact on your execution. I mean, like the words that you
100%.
choose in your plan is important.
100%. Thank you, Yasser and Ahmed. I'll jump into the first question from our LinkedIn user.
Mm.
So he is asking, what are criteria to judge your sales channel is achieving its objective? How you can control new launch products replacing existing product? How you control your reverse logistics? I think
So
that they are
it's
three
three
questions.
questions in one, and I think very
Combo. It's combo.
combo and comprehensive
So
questions.
yes, I
I
think it's
think
very
he's
nice
talking
questions.
about like the OKR or here or like the criteria, like what are the KPIs for the first question. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the KPIs, it's what the company KPIs are. Is it IMS? Is it in market sales? Is it shares? Is it profitability? I mean, it's one of these three things. I mean, like it's rarely that you can hit the three you have a sell-in and you have a market share and you have also a profitable growth. So the criteria is whatever the I would say the management, the company agrees on. I mean, like
Yeah.
we are going after market share in this quarter. Then market share is the criteria. Are we gaining share across our top categories in this channel or no? This is
Mhm.
one thing. If it's a bottom line and profitability, then this is another thing. Are we growing more net sales
Mm.
in within this channel or no? So this would require more savings of promotion and more selling of high net sales items and these kind of stuff. So the KPIs get to be set by what is the
Top
company
management.
strategy,
Yeah.
what is the game plan.
Yeah.
um, so this is what comes up into my mind, to be honest, for the first question. For the second question, I mean, again, depends on the product that you are launching. If it's just an extension of a variant, you will be having definitely a very high cannibalization on the base sales that you have. So what is the acceptable, I mean, threshold for you? And this again, it will be in the business case of the new product launch that you have. I mean, like how much you are expecting this new product will cannibalize from the base variants that you have. Or if it's a totally new product, it's an innovation, then how much incrementality that you expect that's going to get into your sales, into the category, into the retailer uh, himself that you are launching the product in.
Mhm.
Uh, the last part, I would leave that to you guys. You would be more experienced than me in this.
Definitely. So if we're talking about, I think the controlling the reverse logistics, I think you have to design it end to end. Most companies they fail on just doing it forward, but they don't think about when it comes to backward. And
Yeah.
every industry has its challenge. So and I keep saying this: the more the product is complicated, the more the reverse logistics that you could have. So you have to design it from every aspects, from a product point of view, from an industry point of view, and even from a channel point of view, because not all products that you could have designing the reverse logistics and using like one size fits all, because it's a channel, and each channel could have some challenges that it's not applicable to the other. But if I want to think about the control itself, it's about designing the right ones. It's about just seeing it from every aspect inside the business. It's not only about supply chain, but also from financials point of view. How it will affect your invoicing, how it will affect your consolidation with your customers, how it will affect your way of dealing with the customer. Because sometimes this kind of things, the reverse logistics or the returns, it could affect your reputation with your customer. It could affect and devastate your SRM and CRM. So setting the control, it's not easy, but depends on which area you are looking at.
Exactly. And to add to this, Ahmed, I think you have to be very clear in your contractual agreements with all with your distributors, with your wholesalers, with whatever. So you have to be very clear on this strategy. What will
100%.
happen with the returns? Who's responsible for the returns? When are we going to send back the returns? So sometimes you are bombarded with these returns by end of the year, and you find that this is eroding and cutting from the bottom line. And sometimes people, because they are not following up, there is no tracking system for what's happening in the market. I've seen this in some companies, of course not all companies, but this happens sometimes, that you're bombarded with returns and comes negative in your P&L, and you finally find yourself like it cuts from your bottom line, it eats from your eats, sorry, from your top line. So this part, it has to be controlled through contractual agreements. It has to be, I think, to add, it has to be like follow up month by month on these returns, so that you're not like, it's not like a shock by end of the year that we're having this amount of returns and these products that are not sold because, for example, we pushed the products to the wrong channels, like you said, Ahmed. So I echo your voice here. Yeah,
Thank you, Hamamsi. It's nice answer. So I'll jump into the next question.
sure.
Thank you, Yasser. Also, our friend Khalid Al Tawusi, he's asking how you manage category channel strategy when major accounts in channel have their own private labels?
I think it's
Oh,
an
this
It's
is
unmatched.
very,
this is
Excellent.
uh,
it's
this
very nice.
is a very nice
Excellent.
question, and actually, as far as I can tell, I haven't found an answer for. I mean, like especially in
Yeah.
categories uh, where the retailer is huge and it's private label, it's almost kind of challenging you as a category leader, you know. So in that situation, it becomes difficult because this private label is way profitable for the retailer than your product. Now, one of the things that we tried before is kind of to use, I would say, data and scientifically prove that the frequency of purchase that I'll be having with my product is still higher
Yeah.
than your private label, and the margin that you are making versus the higher frequency of purchase that I have with the margin that you're making from my product, you will lose if you keep pushing that private label. But again, as let's assume in this case that I'm a category leader, uh, I don't have visibility on the margin that the retailer is making from his own
Yeah.
private label. You get my point? And it's just an assumption that I'm making that because I sell more, I move more, then I'll generate more
Profit or more
profit to
sales.
you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is critical. Now again, this I would say assumption or hypothesis kind of makes sense when the private label is not, let's say, that challenging or that risky. It's still like low, but the retailer keeps on pushing it, giving it visibility, giving it all these kind of support enablers. Then this would be easier to resonate, to tell him I'm still higher in terms of share. This is the product that you should be pushing. This is the amount of sales that you'll be losing if you push more this private label versus pushing away, I would say, a higher a higher product in terms of share and sell out. But yeah, I mean, in situations where a private label is really making a huge contribution, then this is a challenge.
Challenge.
And again, you should look at it from a different perspective. I mean, like a private label cannot jump to be a challenger and a number two brand unless the consumer is really accepting it, you know,
Exactly.
unless there is an acceptance from
Willingness.
consumer side, and there is offtake, you know. Consumer is not will not buy something that bad at the end of the day. So maybe there is
Definitely.
a change in the consumer behavior and the category dynamics itself, where you need to look into it. Are you missing something in your mix, in your products that you're offering, and a private label is doing something better? So yeah, this is how I would think of it.
Yeah, and I would add to that, I definitely agree with you. Mostly, I think this started for the private labels. I've seen it for big key accounts. They are blocking like some of the low price competitors, and they're putting their private label because it's getting to them better money. And sometimes they're blocking even like old brands, and they don't
Yeah,
they don't allow some brands. So yeah, it's getting really competition is fierce. But as you said, if you are like the market leader or number two or number three, you have still the space to put your products. But sometimes there is challenges. So it depends on the power of the company. How
yeah,
do you go in the negotiation at the beginning of the year? What space you're going to take? And like you said, you must have something to offer
exactly.
to the key account, or you're giving him the hypothesis that yes, you are high turnover, so you are responsible about the profitability of the category, for example, in the key account or the supermarket. So you're either you want to keep your space or maybe increase your space sometimes, but always it will be a hustle, of course, and they always
Yeah,
want to the supermarket or the key account always want to increase the share of shelf of the private label because they believe this will give them more money, like you said.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, 100%. If you allow me also add something from an experience on that point, I think that private labels, their just ultimate game is about the price. It's a price game, I would say. It's
Yeah,
all about the price game. So they will always position their price way lower from the
yes.
best
The
brand
market
equity.
leads.
Just yeah, because this is the game. They
Yes,
want to have offtake regardless the value of the brand itself. So their own game, it's about the price, and regardless. Uh, if I'm a consumer and if I can see the value for money that I paid, it's good. Definitely, it will affect my sellout. And here it comes the pitfall from many companies and all the competitions that they're working with, private label and the own category of the organization itself. When you are just being lazy, with my due respect, and you don't do
yeah,
your homework or exercise or just tracking the data insights and keep ignoring these kind of things, and it comes expanding every day by day, then here is the problem. Because if you don't respond, there is some challenges. I don't mean that you need to position your price down, but where it comes the innovative thinking. How can we have like a reverse attack with a specific product, local product, at a lower cost, and also maybe the margin will not be compensated, but at least I can compete, not by my core brands, but by a reverse, I would say, brands, or just I can attack and take this challenge. But leaving it to just the consumer, I think it's not the fundamental of the marketing. You have to work on these insights
Yeah.
just to solve any challenge in the market itself. So this is just based on some of the experience, I would say.
thank you.
So thank you.
Let's take
So
another question. We have a lot of questions today, Yasser, like we
yes,
expected.
yes, we have our friend Muhammad Fathi. So he is asking, guys, do you see the announcing of the strategy with all team member is mandatory or keep it optional?
Wonderful question. Let's hear you
Beautiful.
answer in that, and I will put some insights after that. Please go ahead.
طيب first of all يعني thank you فتحي and I hope you're doing well. We worked for a short period of time together. Uh, now, if I understand the question correctly, you're asking, I mean, announcing the strategy to the team who will implement the strategy. So definitely, if that's the question, then yes, we should announce the strategy to the team who will be implementing the strategy because they are the ones at the end of the day who's going to make sure that it happens in the ground, not the Excel sheet, not the presentation. And it's not only announcing. It's announcing, tracking, convincing. If it takes that you go and meet the customer yourself as a strategy designer, I would call it for now, then you do it because for for these type of roles, like I was explaining at the beginning of the discussion, there is a huge part of the work relies on you influencing uh, the teams to make the strategy happens. You will not get to implement the strategy by your own self. It's going to be through teams, through people. So if I understand the question correctly, I mean definitely it's way more than announcing. Is lots of influencing that needs to happen in ground. Now definitely there is a back and forth discussion in this. People who would just don't care about your strategy. I just need to get the number and please don't waste my time telling me all these kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
so you will find this anywhere and everywhere. It's a matter of how to be emotionally intelligent and understand what needs to be said to whom. I mean, like what you will say to the channel manager is different than what you're going to say to the sales executives in the ground. Is different than what you're going to say to the customers. So having that flexibility as well is important. But yes, it's very important to announce and influence.
Thank you,
definitely,
guys.
definitely. Yes, sir. That's a great answer, of course. And yeah, I echo you. You need to communicate it very clear to everyone. Where you want to take the company and what's your strategy and how you're going to do that. And as you said, it's supposed to be different language from one manager to the line manager to the merchandisers. But you need to it makes people feel sense of belonging to the organization, and this kind of involvement encourages people to start working and to start communicating this regularly or quarterly. Where are we from the strategy and what we are doing? I've seen this in some companies that I work, and it really helped. I think it motivated people, of course. And of course, once also you link this with the rewards to the teams, or whenever they are very close to the to achieving what we want, we start to rewarding them financially, or rewarding them with any kind of rewards, even if some announcements, some kind of competition. All these kind of things will create a great environment and great culture in the company.
Sure.
Thank you, Hamam. Thank you, Yasser. We'll jump into the next question from our friend Roger Rur. He's asking, how do you manage your supply demand inventory of a product that is one of a kind, like a CPU or 1010 FPGA? I think it's a very nice question. I think it's more related into the supply chain. Let me just, I'll put it in a very easy frame of thinking. You have to, if most of the challenges that if you have one unique product and it's unique for very unique sales channel or very unique for a retailer, I would say move from make to stock into make to order in order to avoid risk. Try to work in a different ways. I know that there will be some challenges if you're talking about how can I do this if my sourcing strategy could be very complicated. I could have a higher lead time of all of these things. You have to find a way to make your supply chain very flexible, and you have to work on your sourcing strategies. Try to do that because
Flexible.
this is a risk in inventory. Unique codes or unique SQs, it's very risky because once you have any bias in your demand, definitely you will have a risk, and especially if you have a perishable products, perishable products that they have like a specific shelf lifetime and then will be expired. What if you order more than what you need? What will happen that you will have some droppage in your shelf lifetime, then you will end up with obsolete. So my great advice, I would say, for the unique SQs, just to drive it from make to stock into make to order, and try to find a way to solve this problem, because you cannot use one size fits all in all supply chain strategies. This is the advice that I can give.
Yeah, and I think also you have to be close to the customers. You need to get more data. The more, of course, you get data and information, the more you'll be flexible in your demand and meeting your demand. And because it's a risk, of course, if it's like a unique and it's inexpensive, for example, product or something like that. That's why Ahmed advises to move to make to order, so that you don't stock and you don't lose, of course, having a high
Inventory.
inventory from this. You're tying cash and you're going to lose your profitability, of course.
Yes, 100%. Thank you, Rod. Hopefully that we answered your question. We'll jump into the next question. Our friend Muhammad Fathi is asking, related to the private label question, we can make a deal of win-win situation by increasing this product sales plus my brand sales, and there are some tactics could be played in the scenario. I think it's very nice suggestion at this point.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Muhammad. Just Yasser, um, let's move a little bit into the coming question. I think it's a very interesting one. I see, you know, it's a trendy inside most companies where at the beginning of the year, you have beautiful cash, you have beautiful budget, and the budget it's top. You are very secured based on the OP that you have for the full year. But when you move forward month by month, then the budgets start to be annihilated, or some challenges happened. Then, due to the pressure that you have it on the margin themselves, the easiest way to have like a cut with, it's the market investment. It's not the supply chain cost, because supply chain cost you need to have longer lead time or longer time to have this kind of expenses or just savings. The easiest one, which is reducing or just cut a budget from a specific category. However, we need to have the same sales. When you face this kind of challenges, when I have a specific budget in order to have, I have my baseline and I have my promo intensity, this will have my incremental total sales, total forecast. When I have a budget cut and I'm a CEO and I want to have the same sales, and let's say that I give you like 25% budget cut. I need the same sales. What is the best way to cater for this strategy? I know it's not easy, but I'm
Yes.
looking for.
La, it's very easy, and there is a straightforward answer to it.
Mm.
Always build a buffer in your plans. So,
Mm.
because this will come your way anytime.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, and it comes with experience. I remember the first time we were faced with that. I mean, like, was like, how come? And we will lose shares and we'll not be able to get
Mm.
IMS and all this kind of stuff. Eventually, understand that this is something that happens everywhere in all companies,
Mm.
and especially in this region, because this region, it's a profit pool, I would say. Like it contributes in the profit margin for most of multinationals, more than volume margin. I mean, like, if you look at our region, definitely as volumes, it's not like, yeah, America or India or China or Latin America or Europe. Volume wise, they are way bigger, but like profit wise, this region is way bigger. So profitability here
Mm.
is always key, and the profit margins that we have in the region is the highest.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, the approach I take, and this is, and I see, I think it's done even from top down. I mean, like, there are buffers in the plan itself.
Hmm.
You have to have kind of like, what is the threshold in which, that if you get lesser budget than this, you cannot do anything, and you have to know what is the extra amount that you can still deploy and get more share, and you are fine if they will cut that
Hmm.
amount in a way, and that will require a very deep understanding of your plan and your spend by account, by channel, by promo type, by activity. That strong understanding will help you have that flexibility in your planning. So
Hmm.
you can put these, I would say, shock absorbers. Like, when you get a shock, that
Yeah.
Hmm.
they help you. So usually, yes, this is the answer that I would give, and again, it's a normal demand that happens in all companies and from all type of managements. A change in direction in the middle of the quarter or in the middle of the month,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, we have to deliver.
Yes.
Can I make it
Definitely.
more hard,
Yeah.
please? In case if we don't have a buffer, and I'm a CEO, and I'm asking guys, I want this kind of sales, and I dropped the budget that we have by 25%, and I need you to do it. What is the best way to deal with that situation? I'm just talking
Yeah.
from that perspective
So
because
from that,
it's the reality.
from that point, assuming you don't have a buffer, so
Mm,
from that point, I mean, I would not just go straight forward and say definitely we cannot achieve that number, but
mm,
there should be a storytelling. Like,
mm,
Mm.
I mean, like, that budget I had, this is the building block that it contributes in making. That budget was spent behind these promos, behind
mhm,
these new launches, behind these incentives to sales team to drive distribution in certain channel. Now, I can compensate some through selling high net sales items in certain accounts. I list new products that were not listed in certain accounts.
mhm,
These will give me this incrementality, but net, I still have this gap, which is a genuine gap due to this budget. Then,
Mm.
at the end of the day, it's your job to show the picture as is. You cannot just go
mhm,
and fake it.
You cannot
So,
hide
but
it. Yeah.
but like but again, answering no, but like, last year I got this budget, this year you are giving me this budget, definitely I have this drop. This is as well is not a right answer that you give. Like, you should be convincing. You should show the
yeah.
building blocks of your plan. Then you can have, I would say, a thorough discussion with the management, with the leadership.
Yes,
Good.
I can echo it. It's a beautiful answer, amazing, incredible answer. Because why I stressed on this, Yasser and House, because most CEOs they had sometimes a rigid mind to an extent that they don't listen.
Yeah.
So if you are rigid and also from the other side the rigidity, you will not just reach to the right place. you not reach to the right point. So I could easily, okay, I'll do whatever you want. This budget cut, no problem at all. So what I will do, I will work, and then I underachieve and justify. So why shall I put myself in that position?
Yeah,
What is the way that
Yeah,
I can see? Definitely, Hamza, go ahead.
yeah,
definitely. No, I think Yasser answer was beautiful. You have to be clear from the beginning and show that what work have you done. But what you're saying is sometimes it's driven by fear. To, for example, people fear to lose
Exactly.
their jobs, fear that they are underachieving versus their peers or something. So they just accept, like, because the top management is coming top down. So we'll cut and do whatever you want and just get us the numbers. And like you said,
But
sometimes I've seen this in meetings. The management, they don't even listen. So
but
yeah.
it puts them in a very more hard situation, Hamamsi,
Yes, of
because
course.
if this attitude comes and the culture happens inside the organization by that way, it will be just a blame game and justifications. So if
Exactly.
we had this culture, you not have anything. But if I
And
can listen and I can justify and we can speak and do just a midpoint discussion, reach somewhere, I could just avoid all of these struggles or all of this underachievement that
pressure.
I would
Yeah.
have. Yes,
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
exactly. Yes. So another question. I know that time is flying as usual.
Yeah. Yeah.
So another question. I think it's one of also the one of the interesting questions. We asked this question mostly to our thought leaders when it comes to that point. What is the best retail or SQ rationalization strategy that a company should encounter for?
well, i I don't have, I would say, in mind, I would say a best strategy I would call, but like the way I look at it, that rarely companies look into rationalization. Usually we just go and fill shelves, like they
Mm,
are, uh, it's like an infinite space that we have in which we can just go and fill shelves. So, so the exercise of rationalization itself is something I would say very important to do, and it's always critical to look into. I mean, like at least at the beginning of every year, like the pipeline of new products that you're launching, and you have almost 1 year of performance on products. Then you know what are the tail
Mhm.
that you need to cut out of your products. So I would say the best thing to do is like having that rationalization exercise is uh, I would say every year. I mean, like done in a
yeah.
processed manner. It doesn't happen, like by coincidence. So the best approach I would say to the question that you just answered, Ahmed, that I mean, like have that process of rationalization is being embedded into the
System.
system
Yeah.
of planning itself and launching new products and everything. How is it to be done? It can be done by account. You look at the top SKUs that generate 80% of the sales, and you cut the rest after you eliminate innovations or new products and promotions, and you look at these items itself. You as well need to kind of do it in collaboration with the retailer itself, and show him the items that you will be rationalizing and removing, and what is the I would say incrementality that will be brought up into the category once you do this
Mhm.
rationalization. So again, by account, you look at it by SKU. You remove new products, promotions. You keep the retailer informed. You show the size of price by doing this rationalization. And
Mhm.
before all is doing this in a disciplined manner, consistent, and you always do a rationalization. And again, I don't think so. It requires to do a rationalization more than once a year.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
more than enough.
I think you answered one of the biggest struggles that when I was in demand planning, I didn't understand why we are looking at when we're in supply chain, we're looking at a total national level when it comes to rationalization. Because for us, SQ to be rationalized, it means that it will be discontinued totally from a total national level at a total geographical level, whatever we're looking at. And the interesting thing that sometimes you see some SQs, they have some histories at the specific accounts, and then it's off. Got it. But still, it's selling in another accounts. So I like the strategy that you're talking about. It's not only looking it from a total national level, but you have to look into key account, how it looks like from a retail point of view, into SQ level. This is the
Yeah,
right way.
definitely.
And then and this, I think it's all connected. Yasser, also, it will release just some space in the shelf itself, and it will give some sort in the planogram, or just in the planogram itself, the space for another SQs that could have better sellout, or maybe some OSA challenges that you can put it, and then the sellout will be increased at this point.
Definitely, yes. Definitely.
Yes. So thank you for this great answer, Dr. Yasser. Um, One of the questions also, I think that we could have it on that point, it's the assortment. I think this will be also an interesting
Yeah.
question related. We spoke a little bit about the rationalization, but in terms of assortment, when it comes to SQ deploying, what could be the strategy? I don't want to say the best strategy, but based on your for sure experience, what would be the optimal strategy that you used in terms of assortment at a retail side?
See, I mean, like it's one of the nice, I mean, like exercises that I I worked on as well as like designing the MSL and assortment by channel, sub channel, and sometimes by account.
Mm,
Uh, and it's again, it goes back to the first point that we were mentioning at the beginning of the discussion, is how does the category look like by SKU in the channel and in the sub channel or in the account itself. Uh, Having that map helps you design your assortment, helps you as well to
mhm,
minimize any rationalization requirement later on. Like it's
mhm,
one cycle. If you have a very good, I would say, input assortment plan by account, by sub channel, that will help as well to minimize any rationalization that you will need to do later on. So usually I would look into APOS, I would look into Nielsen. I see the sales by SKU, by pack size, and the sub channel, modern trade, supermarket, and hypers. And what is the contribution of these, I would say, pack sizes to the category in that channel?
mhm,
So I would say that in supermarket, I would say 50% of the sales in a certain category comes from a 500 ml pack size. So I should have a 500 ml pack size. Then I can look into variants as well of that 500 ml. I mean, like you have aloe vera, you have lemon, you have matcha, you have whatever flavor that you can name,
mhm,
and you understand which has the highest contribution of that I would say pack size. Then you design your assortments according to that, and you design your planogram as well, which is how the shelf looks
mm,
like
mhm,
according to that as well. So assortment, MSL, rationalization, and planogram, they are just one cycle of planning that they feed into each other, and they work together to have a proper execution in ground.
Amongst, excuse me.
definitely, definitely.
It should
Yeah.
happen, definitely.
Thank you, Esther. Of course, it was a great answer, and it deserved this claps from Ahmed. It's one cycle at the end, and we need to perfect it. But I think, Ahmed, it will take us to one final question, that because the role of some companies, they don't take the role of the merchandisers seriously. So tell us about how to the role of the merchandisers, how it directly affect the business, and how to keep them motivating and how to set their like targets or set goals for them? How do you manage merchandisers from your experience?
See, most of the interactions I had with the merchandising team is mainly in the execution part. Whenever that we have a plan that we need to execute, but definitely understanding the execution chain itself. The merchandiser is the first, I would say, frontliner, is the first person in the ground who sees what's going on and what's happening. Merchandiser is your eye on the market. What's the competition is doing? What new products are being launched? Anything. And before anything, a merchandiser is a human being, so he's not a
Yeah,
different creature, right? So, so the way you motivate a human being, a merchandiser needs to be motivated and stay engaged, and you can expect lots of things that coming from there. Now, now it depends on companies. Most of companies they outsource merchandisers to different companies who does the merchandising thing, so you don't get to really have an influence out there, and more of a discussion is like one two discussion, execute, that's it. In companies where merchandisers they report to the company itself, you have more of an influence. You can
yeah,
design an incentive scheme for them to drive a certain execution KPI. And also before going into incentive schemes, and as well, I mean, like, you have to understand their current structure of incentives, the current one, before coming up with anything. Because as well, you don't want to develop a tone of like incentivizing on doing their core job. Like,
yeah,
this is as well as another mistake that people would fall into. Let's just go and launch something and give incentives to merchandiser, while it's part of their core job to make sure that whatever newly or new launches is being executed properly. So
yeah,
so understand what you are motivating them on is critical. And again, going to the basics of the basics, they are human beings. Having a proper treatment for them, how you speak to them, how you guide them, and how as well you hold them accountable, because at the end of the day it's a business that we are running.
yeah,
It's a mix of all of these elements. But yes, they are the people who are in the front line, and they are a great source of information as well, yani.
definitely, definitely.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Yasser, so much. Thank you so much. I think, as usual, the time is flying.
Yeah,
And let me tell you that, again, the amount of knowledge that we had it today, it's definitely a knowledge that we will never find in books. Thank you so much for your effort, for your valuable time, for your great insights and lovely experience that you shared with us today. And it will be a pleasure again to host you in another topic that it's touching and just inspiring many people to listen for your experience. Thank you again for your
yeah.
attendance and for
And
your
I'd like to thank
sharing.
the audience also. A lot of great engagement and lovely
Yes,
questions
definitely.
today.
Thank you,
Definitely.
guys. صراحة,
Thank
I
you,
really
Yasser.
appreciate the work you're doing. Keep it up. I wish you all the best, and thank you for the invite.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Yasser.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
يعطيكم
Have a
العافية.
great day.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Have
Thank
Take
a
you
care.
very
great day.
much.